Hey, welcome everybody to the Invading with Honor video that I have titled as such. Gorbash Yeti, I'll be your host slash player in this series, in this video. Actually, it's only going to be one with this title. And we're here to discuss the invasion system and how I view it was intended to be used and how it's just invading with honor. And the meaning of that is invading in with honor as designed by the game depending on the way or situation that you are invading. Period. You can read forums, you can watch YouTube videos, you can check the wiki for Dark Souls, and the community as a whole has, not as a whole, but it has been throughout the community that there's this honor code when conducting invasions, so to speak, or this certain way to conduct invasions so as you don't look like a noob or a terrible player or a hacker or some scrub or whatever you want to call it, even a ganking, whatever. So, and the code, honor code, this system of conducting the invasions properly means you start each invasion with a bow. If you're the host, you don't use Estus Blast to heal. If you're the invader, you don't use your humanity to heal. You don't resort to cheap tactics such as spamming the Wrath of the Gods or spamming your R1 or stun locking. You don't use the environment to your advantage. I mean, you don't lure your host into the enemies that are inherent in the world that you have just invaded. Whatever the case may be. I do not use this honor system. I don't believe that when you invade, that's the honorable way to invade. Matter of fact, in my opinion, the honorable way to invade is, just as I said, the way you invade that you were intended to portray being that type of invader. So there are a few different ways that one can be invaded at Dark Souls. Obviously, most people know these by now. But we're going to start with the first one that I'm using right here. I'm a Dark Wraith, and the Dark Wraiths were inherently known to hunt down people in human form to steal their humanity. Plain and simple. They are an ally to the enemies in the world that they invade in. The enemies in the world want to dispatch the host just as much as the invader, the Dark Wraith, and that's the whole point. So the Dark Wraith invader is there to use whatever tactics he feels necessary to dispatch the host. He's there to use the enemies within the world to take care of you. He's there to take advantage of environment situations such as the ledges, and he's there to maybe hide and backstab you when you're not looking. He's there to basically take out the host, get the humanity at all costs. Take down the host, get the humanity at all costs. That is the point of a Dark Wraith. And I get so many messages. Well, I don't get lots of messages, but I get some messages, and basically the gist of the messages is, you know, why do you gotta be whatever, insert whatever explicit bad word you want to use in that sentence, and or, you know, hey, I'm just trying to make it through the game, or, you know, why you gotta act like that, you know, leave me alone, or whatever the case may be. And I always respond to those messages the same. If you don't want to be invaded, why are you in human form? It's that simple. You don't want to be invaded? Don't be in human form. So, and more often than not, I get the messages back saying, well, I was just trying to get my friends to come help me with the level. Well, okay, there's only a few reasons that I can think of why you would want us in there to be summoned. Either the first one is you do need help with the level, the game is too hard, you keep dying, you want to summon your friends to make the game easier, right? Well, inherently, there's going to be a counterbalance to that in the fact that you have 3 guys in the world to help the game be easier. FromSoft is going to throw something at you like an invader. Not only throw something at you, but throw something at you difficult, because we all know that fighting a human invader can be much more difficult than fighting the butchers down in the depths, for instance, right? Because you never know what a human's going to do. You don't have a certain set of moves. They don't have a certain set of AI or movesets that happens. So that's the counterbalance to, if you want to be in there and have your friends in there to help make the game easier, fine. They're just going to throw invaders at you to inherently balance the difficulty, right? That it just makes sense. So another reason, you know, people summon phantoms is so that they can have backup. They're in a common PvP area and they want to make sure that they don't get into a 2v1 situation, such as maybe hosting in the forest. They host in the forest with more than one phantom, also to make life easy on themselves so that they can gain souls, beat invaders pretty easily, because it's mostly always a 2v1 situation. But so inherently, people summon phantoms to give them some type of an advantage, whether that be an advantage over PvE or whether that be an advantage over the player versus player aspect. So again, the counterbalance to that is the invader. So it's designed in the game to be that way. It's designed in the game. So naturally, if you're the Dark Wraith invader, why would you take it easy on a host? Why would you bow? Why would you show any of these honor things when your whole job is to come into that world, take out the host? That simple. So the other type of invasion that can be conducted is as the blue phantom comes in is a Dark Moon Blade. They're there to deal out justice, right? They're there to take care of the people that have sinned. They're there to take care of the people in the Book of the Guilty that may have sin upon them. So when you're conducting those type of invasions, you invade with honor when you carry that invasion out exactly as it is. Now you maybe in that situation, because you're on the side of good, as it were, with these types of invasions. You're hunting down bad guys, which is essentially the Dark Wraiths. So you might bow, let them know that you're there to get them, if that's what you want to do. But ultimately, you're there to serve justice. So you know this is a bad guy, so you're going to go in there, full force, guns a-blazing, take them out. So again, conducting that invasion with honor is simply to eliminate the target. You're there to delve out the justice. You take out the target, take them down, provide the justice, plain and simple. So the other ways to invade, or actually in these couple ones are ways to be summoned to invade, is the red soapstone sign, the dragon covenant, dragon sign. So those are more, someone has called you into their world. You have been called in as an invader to someone's world. So the expectations there, well, granted, there shouldn't be any expectations with this game. You should expect anything to happen. That's more of a dual situation in that type of invasion, though. You have put down your summon sign, knowing that someone is going to call you into their world. You're there to see who the better fighter is to obtain the item. In the case of the dragon, it's a dragon scale. In the case of the red soapstone, it's the humanity. So the better player in those situations wins, gets the spoils. So those can be conducted with honor, sure. Those can be set aside with a certain set of rules that you have prearranged or have come up with the other person if you've been messaging back and forth. If not, you know, a bow back and forth is not necessarily bad. Universal windowing, maybe. Not healing, also not necessarily bad. But I don't think that you shouldn't limit yourself with regards to backstabs or R1 spamming or whatever, because those can all be countered. There's an inherent counter if I'm sitting there spamming the parry, you know, I'm going to get taken out. You know, if I sit there and spam the parry, I run the risk of getting backstabbed, whatever the case may be. So those types of invasions are more duelist invasions, and the way to conduct those with honor is to use some sort of agreed upon rules beforehand, or give yourself some rules when you put down your sign, knowing that you're not going to heal or do the things that would not be honorable if you were to consider a duel. It's going to be a more of a one-on-one situation, and then you know, so the other way is through grave lording, and this one's kind of a, I don't know. I've never successfully used the Gravelord Covenant for invasions. But again, To conduct those with honor, as in honoring your covenant, honoring the way you're supposed to invade, such as, as a Dark Wraith, honoring the Cath and the Dark Cath, however you say it, and the Dark Wraiths by relentlessly hunting down humanity and hunting down the host, or Dark Mooning, by honoring Gwendolyn, and delving out justice and erasing those names in the Book of the Guilty. That's the honor in which you conduct your invasions. That's the only set of rules you use. Then the Gravelord, if you're doing it as a Gravelord, well, it's a Gravelord. Your sword is inherent with the abilities to spread toxic, right? So you're there to spread misery however you can. So put your summon sign down in a place where somebody can't find it. When they come and find your sign and they call you into there and they come in to get you, to hunt you down, to take you out so they're no longer Gravelorded, then win at all costs so that they can continue to be Gravelorded, so that the misery continues. That's how that covenant works. That's how to use those invasions honorable. So I do not use that set of rules. I do not use the honor code. I conduct the invasions as the way I'm invading. If I'm using the blue orb, I conduct them the way a Dark Moon would. If I use the red orb, I conduct them the way a Dark Wraith would. I like to play this way. I do duels. I got no problem with that. I'll put down my red sign in the burg or wherever the case may be. Also, the last one I didn't bring up is the arena. Again, the arena is simply the arena. Depending on what type you're going for, but if you're in the one versus one in the arena, then again, that's more of a duel situation. That's more of a but with the arena, there's a little bit different set of situations provided by the game for you. For instance, your SS Flask is disabled for both people participating, but you can use heal, right? But you can use heal at a great cost to you because it takes time, and you can get backstabbed when you heal. Of course, if you have just killed your opponent and you're low on life and you heal, then you've prepared yourself for the next round, so to speak. So I don't necessarily think that that's a terrible thing. But so that is my spiel on the invasion situation and how to conduct your invasion with honor. As long as you're not a hacker and you conduct your invasion the way that whatever particular covenant you're using to invade people in is, then you shouldn't worry if someone calls you a scrub or if someone sends you a message that says, you're terrible, or I would have won if you hadn't have done this, or whatever the case may be. So that is probably it for the topic of discussion. I'm going to turn this over to my boy Baydude80 and let him commentate the rest of the videos for you. He's brand new to this. He's never commentated before, so we'll see how he does. I think he'll probably do just fine. So, Baydude, you want to come over here? Okay, so here he is. Here's Baydude.
Hi everybody, Baydude80 here. Yeah, so what was he talking about? Oh yeah, Gorbash was talking about the code of invasion, right? Well, if somebody... Alright, let's see here. Alright, what's going on in the video here is Gorbash Yeti is invading other people right now. Now, it's actually very, very rarely that you encounter somebody alone. And actually, I was invaded by a hacker once. He wasn't a very high soul level, but he had these brass knuckle type things, and he shouldn't be having those. So yeah, and he actually left me a gift. He wanted me to indict him. So yeah, sometimes people leave you indictments so you can indict people, stuff like that. Yeah, but seriously, as I was saying, you can leave gifts. Although I don't know how. But if once actually, I was watching Gorbash and he broke the code. The other person was bowing and he hit him. So, um, yeah, Gorbash let him heal whenever he wanted because Gorbash had accidentally broken the code. But otherwise, I got a channel. I only have one video right now. So, yeah. It's about actually a bridge where if you look it up, it's got no name, only coordinates. But otherwise, alright, if somebody invades your host world and you're helping them out, you should always put yourself first. That's what I do. Put yourself first, don't let the host die, and you defeat the person invading you, and you get souls. It's that easy. Otherwise, he's just trying to beat people. You know. Oh yeah, Gorbash really likes backstabs. He'll go from or riposte whenever he can. I mean, I think you should do that when the opponent is vulnerable, trying to use magic or something. Otherwise, invasion is actually pretty hard. It's rare that Gorbash gets indicted or wins. Both at the same time? Well, that's the only way you can be indicted anyways. If you really want to not go by the code, and you want to use the environment and the enemies, and you have already beaten that place and you go back there, you would know practically everything and leave them to death. So otherwise, there isn't really much. I mean, other than Gorbash invading, he does it a lot actually. There was this one point he was at a snow area and he kept invading. He seriously would not stop.
Okay, I think that's enough for the commentary. I think everybody, you know, Baydude80 did a great job there. He's new to Dark Souls. He hasn't played it very much, so he was supposed to tell you a little bit about what's going on with the videos, but he gave you his point of view on invasions, which is great. That's what we wanted. So anyway, we're going to go ahead and cut it off here. We're going to let the rest of the video play out. And like or subscribe if you like the video. And if you didn't, oh well. And leave any comments or anything we could do better. And Baydude80 also has a channel if you guys want to check it out. But anyway, we're going to go for now. We'll let the rest of the video play out. Like I said, thanks for watching.